Shalom and praise the Lord from wherever you're getting us from. Karibu sana and thank you for tuning into Uprising TV where we enrich lives. This is the Ignite Show with Father Martin Chibole and I am your host, Terry Joy. Na kama kawaida, this show lands on your screen every Saturday from 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. So thank you so much for tuning in, guys. And just before we get into it, or we delve into today's topic, niwakumbusheni that if you'd like to reach us, our WhatsApp number and SMS number is 0756303019. If you'd like to reach us, if you'd like to call us or give us feedback on our content, that is the number to use. Now, if you'd like to reach us on our socials as well, that is our social media platforms, pale TikTok, YouTube, Facebook and Instagram, that is at Uprising TV. Remember to like, share, subscribe, leave a comment as well. Kama umebarikiwa, tuambie hapo chini that you have been blessed by the topic. If you have suggestions as well, we're very welcome and open to it. So just before we get into today's segment, niwakumbusheni that this is the Ignite Show. And to ignite means to inspire intense feelings. And when we look at it from a biblical perspective, tunasema kwamba it's the Holy Spirit's ability to stir up spiritual passion and action within a believer's heart. It signifies a deep desire and motivation to serve God and fulfill His purpose, often likened to a fire that burns brightly. As you know, this is a youth talk show where we ignite you about every topic, rather all topic that pertains to the youth, but not limited to the youth. Of course, everyone is welcome to watch. So at this juncture, wacha nimkaribishe Father Chibole, atuambie amekuaje, ajitambulishe pia for those maybe who do not know him, atuambie ni nani, where he comes from, and then we can get into the topic of the day. Karibu.
Thank you so much, Terry.
Yes.
So happy to join you once again this Saturday,
yes,
in this new month of June,
yes,
when we are celebrating environment, we are celebrating family, and we are also celebrating our fathers. This is the month of our fathers, Father's Month, June.
Yes.
I have been okay. I wouldn't complain. It's been a nice week, and the week is not over until we talk to our youth in this Ignite Show. Yes, Father Martin Chibole is my name. People call me Rafiki wa Vijana.
Amen.
Yes,
That is
I work
nice.
A lot for the youth, in schools, in the church, wherever. So I'm always very at home when I'm talking
to the
about
youth.
the youth and to the youth.
It's so nice when we have mentors in the society and fathers, because you might not have biological children, but you might have spiritual children. You might make an impact in the society just as you do. So we really do celebrate fathers out there. Thank you so much for being a father to my youth wetu.
Asante.
Yes.
All right. So benefiting from your feedback, tonight we'd like to talk about the youth and revenge. Because revenge has become a very sensitive issue now. Young people have been communicating and asking, Father, why is so much revenge in the world? We see, people are hitting back.
Especially with the political arena currently in Kenya. There's been a lot of talks on revenge. Not only talks, but sometimes you're able to see it because we are affected as well.
True.
It might be a brother, a sister, a friend, a cousin.
We don't know who is next.
Yes, exactly.
Hurt me, I hurt you. Tit for tat seems to be what is happening, not just in Kenya, but now East Africa.
Yes, as well.
What may have begun as a Kenyan issue, it's now in Uganda.
In Uganda,
Tanzania,
and even nationally, as internationally, you can see the wars between Palestine, Israel.
Go to the States.
Yes.
Trump is busy quarreling and fighting with the rich people. And, So that's why our youth are concerned when they're asking, could you people address this issue of revenge? Is it a good thing to revenge? What do I do to someone who has hurt me?
Yes.
Do I hurt them back? As they say, to revenge is human, but to forgive is divine. So since we are not just human, but we are human beings who love God,
yes,
who know God, so we have a reason to do it better.
Better, exactly. And we know when we talk about revenge, it's a very wide scope, just have you said. So just for the viewers, we are going to talk about what revenge means. What does it mean when you hear the word revenge? What emotions do they invoke? We're going to talk about things like avenues of revenge, types of revenge, causes, consequences, remedy. How do we remedy the situation? This is after revenge has happened. We talked about living values against revenge, role models, and all that. We're going to look at all these things that pertain to revenge. Yes, so maybe we can get into it. Unaweza tuambia, revenge ni nini?
Sure.
Na nini inaleta revenge, all that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So good to go. Let's talk revenge. So that we can ignite a spirit against revenge. We're saying we are not team revenge. We are team forgiveness.
Team forgiveness, yes. Pro-forgiveness.
Pro-forgiveness. We are anti-revenge.
Anti-revenge.
Sure. So to our youth and children and adults who are watching, so to revenge is to inflict hurt or harm to someone who may have wronged you.
Yes.
So to hurt someone, to harm someone who may have wronged you is what revenge is about.
Yes.
So we can see, yes, many people hurt us knowing or unknowing.
Unknowing, yes.
And so should we hurt them back? Should we harm them in return? Is the question.
Yes.
So and the answer is a big no. No, we shouldn't pay bad for bad. In fact, we should pay good for good,
yes,
and good for bad as well.
For bad as well.
Yes. So that attitude, that behavior, where you pay bad for bad, is what we're calling revenge. And
yes.
I'm sure you are seeing so much of it in many places, and we want to encourage one another that that's not the way to go, because an avengeful community or environment is a bad one. You see, this month we are talking environment, and environment is not just the plants and animals surrounding us. Human beings are part of our environment. So if they're hurting us, we're hurting them. That environment is toxic and not the best for success and even salvation.
Yes, yes. And then we can also talk about sometimes when we talk about revenge, you might be revenging on a person, but the wrongdoing has been perceived. It's not maybe the person. Maybe it's a wrong accusation, or maybe you thought or you read into the situation wrong. Yeah. So sometimes it's not bad for bad. It might be bad for perceived bad.
Very true.
Yeah.
But that mistake may be real or perceived.
Or perceived. Yeah.
And you see, and you're busy revenging, and many times, I remember in one of the shows, I did tell a story of a lady, a young mother, who had just gotten her firstborn. Maybe the kid was 6 months.
Yeah.
Then she goes to the shop, but behind, in her environment, there was a cat she loved. So she leaves the baby and the cat, at home, and she goes to the shop. When she comes back, the baby is missing. She's not on the bed where she left her.
Oh my.
And she looks around and sees the cat. The cat is bloody. It looks like it has eaten someone or something. So what does the lady do? She imagines the worst.
Yes.
This cat has attacked my baby.
My baby.
She goes out, picks a club, a fimbo, comes back and kills the cat.
Oh my.
Hits the cat until it dies in anger.
Yes.
And then now, after doing that, she goes around to look, where is any remnants of my baby? And when she goes around, just below the bed, the baby was there, safe and sound. But next to the baby was a python that the cat had just killed.
Yes, so the blood was from the python and not the baby.
So you can see that was a perceived mistake.
Yeah.
In fact, that is a cat that should have been rewarded and not killed.
Yes.
So that story demonstrates what happens when we revenge. when we should have forgiven.
Yes.
If you take time, you may discover maybe there's no mistake done. But look at that lady. She saw a mistake that was not. She went ahead to kill a cat.
Yeah.
And a good cat that had saved the baby from being swallowed by the python.
Quite
so
sad.
Many times people do that. So you're right to say that the mistakes we revenge for, some are real, some are perceived. And that's really the situation. So maybe, Terry, you would, let's turn to the Bible, because we do biblical counseling on this show. What does the Bible say about revenge?
Revenge, yes.
Should we do it? Should we not?
So as usual, tunajua, we look at things, everything rather from a biblical perspective. And if you have your Bible with you, kama uko na Biblia yako, or you can access it through your phone, you can just turn to Deuteronomy chapter 32 verse 35. That will be our first verse of the day. Deuteronomy 32 verse 35 inasema, vengeance is mine and recompense. Their foot shall sleep in due time, for the day of their calamity is at hand, and the things to come hasten upon them. That is Deuteronomy 32, 35. Moving on to Psalms 37, 8 to 9. That is Psalm 37, 8 to 9. I'll start with verse 8. Inasema, cease from anger and forsake wrath. Do not fret, it only causes harm. For evildoers, that is 9, shall be cut off, but those who wait on the Lord, they shall inherit the earth. Moving on to Proverbs chapter 10 verse 12, inasema, hatred stirs up strife, but love covers all sins. Other versions say that love covers a multitude of sins. Moving on to Romans 12 verse 19, inatuambia, beloved, do not avenge yourselves, but rather give place to wrath. For it is written, vengeance is mine, I will repay, says the Lord. This is just making reference to Deuteronomy chapter 32 verse 5. That was the first verse we read. That is Romans 12:19.
Correct.
Yes, that is the word of God.
I'm sure you've heard it loud and clear. God says, leave judgment and revenge to me.
To me, yes.
Because I know how best to do it. Yes.
Yes, so, and it says, Psalm 37 says, it only causes harm.
Yes. And then he cautions us, why should you leave it to me? Because if you do it, you will harm.
Yes.
Remember, to revenge is to hurt. It is to harm someone you think has offended you.
Yes, definitely.
All right, so that's what we're talking about. We're seeing so much of it, and so we want to address. Should we join the team of people who are busy revenging, or should we find a better way of handling mistakes, wrongs, and injuries that happen to us? So let's look at avenues of revenge. Here we mean places where revenge may be happening. The first place is in the homes. We see a lot of it. Spouses are revenging against each other. You know, a man goes out, the lady does the same. He has a mpango wa kando, I will
the
get
lady
one.
Does the same,
And it worsens the situation, because two wrongs don't make it
right.
Then parents are hurting their children. Children are hurting their parents. Making homes very toxic. We are seeing revenge in the neighborhood. A neighbor's animal strays into your maize plantation. A neighbor's child abuses your child. You know, a neighbor's house help quarrels with yours. And what began with children ends up with adults. And so on. So very unfortunate that we see that. Then we have revenge at the community. Yes, a ward, a constituency, a county. Sometimes a lot of tension because counties are not homogeneous. Look at Vihiga with 4 or 5 communities sharing a county. It is even different. In Kakamega, we have about 12 sub-tribes sharing a county. They have to coexist. If they don't, and they revenge on one another, it is not the best. Then from the community, we go to the schools. A school that is made of teachers, workers, students, parents. If they don't restrain, they can revenge on one another.
Yes.
And look at students who are burning their schools.
Yes.
That's
quite
a revenge.
sad. Yeah.
They feel we are not fed well, we are not taught well. Let's bring down the buildings. That is the spirit of revenge that we are rebuking. I'm sure there are students at home who could be watching and say, the mistake you did was to revenge. It is possible that, yes, you are hurt by the teachers or the workers, but to pay bad for bad makes you as bad as those that hurt you in the first place.
Yes.
Remember, the second offender is worse than the first
offender, yes.
Because the second had an option to do it better. Should have learned. Remember,
from the first.
Yes, mistakes are learning opportunities. So when your teachers offend you, learn from it and do it better.
Definitely.
Then we have revenge also in the places of worship, the churches and mosques.
Yes.
And that is the worst that it can get.
Worse.
Yes, because
quite sad.
Yes, the church and mosque, believers are supposed to be role models.
Yes.
Yes. Ambassadors of Christ.
Ambassadors of Christ, yes. Exactly.
And an ambassador represents their country, their government.
Yes.
So our God is a God of forgiveness.
And a God of peace.
And a God of peace. How can we claim to be his ambassadors, his representatives, and we do it opposite?
Yeah.
So we must up our game and be true ambassadors of Christ.
Of Christ. Because other people are looking to us as well, you know. They're waiting. Sema huwa anasemanga ameokoka. Masha tuone na behave aje, you know.
And then we evaporate.
It evaporate.
Yes. Look at Jesus. You know the story of his passion, death, and resurrection. Jesus didn't revenge.
He did not.
Yet he could have revenged. They accused him falsely, gave him a cross that didn't belong to him, tortured him,
and killed
nailed him on the cross. So look, he doesn't revenge.
But instead decides to die for us.
To die.
Imagine.
Knowing I will beat them in their game. I will defeat Satan. I will defeat death.
Yes.
I will defeat the grave. So if you don't revenge, you are a winner.
Yes.
If you revenge, you are a loser.
You're a loser, yes. And
Jesus,
that's why you say Jesus is the perfect pattern.
Yes.
Yes.
And when we shall be looking at the role models of against revenge, Jesus is top on the list.
Exactly.
Yes. So we are Team Jesus.
Kabisa.
Then we have revenge in places of work. Yeah, a boss can revenge against a worker and vice versa. Even the workers.
Between themselves as well,
can easily revenge. And that spoils the place of work.
Yes.
That's why there are people who dread going to work.
Yeah.
Because there's somebody they revenged to. Or somebody revenged against
them. Yeah. And especially in the work setting, we do realize that it starts from just the small minor things. Yeah.
Somebody talked about uliongelewa, ulisengenywa.
Yes.
And maybe it's true, maybe it's not. And you hit back. Normally, the one who hits back does it, hurts more. The second hurt is normally bigger and worse than the first.
Yes.
Which now makes the second offender a worse offender than the first. Come to think of it. Then there is also revenge in the political stage. Yeah, at the county and national levels. We see lots of revenge at the moment.
Yes.
The government feels offended by the youth, some youth. The youth will feel offended by the government. And it's making it very tense. So we are thinking that if the government thinks the youth have offended them, and the youth are human, they can make mistakes.
Exactly.
Why not follow rightful channels of addressing the issue? But abducting, torturing, and killing our youth,
it's not the solution.
Not what we expect of a government. And why is the government getting the beating? Because look at the case of Albert Ojwang.
Yes. He's an ex-blogger who was recently tortured, then murdered, just because of airing his views on X, the platform, or as some may call it, Twitter.
Yes.
Yeah, that's quite
the
sad.
last persons who were with him were the police. So if he's found dead, who do we ask? The police,
of course.
You're the ones who arrested him. Brought him all the way to Nairobi.
Yes.
Then you tell him, he took his life.
He took his life, yeah. Refusing accountability in the process of it.
Yes. We are not boarding. We are not buying that. Doesn't make sense. Even though anything is possible, come to think of it. So, at that level, you can see it's not. And now the youth are busy saying, and for that, we're going to the streets. So now again, that's the spirit of revenge.
Yes.
You hit me, I hit you.
Yes.
And here we are on the Ignite show saying, that's not the way to go. As young people, restrain yourself. Remember, you have a longer way to go. The future belongs to you. So don't be dragged into a mess. They say if you fight with a pig, you look like one. You remember, pigs are pigs are messy. So if you mess up with a pig, people will laugh at you and say, hey, you didn't know that it belongs to a pig to do this.
Yes.
So restrain so that we can tell who is. We can see the true villain and the true victim.
And just on that matter, before we continue, I know we are heading on to types of revenge, but now that we've talked about the case of Ojwang, and some youth might rise up in protests, peaceful protests, might I add. So there's the difference between revenging and peaceful protest. Yes. So sometimes what is a peaceful protest might be looked upon by the government as revenge. And in this case, it's the youth rallying up for one of their own. They're bringing this matter to light and they're saying whatever was done is not right. The police could have used proper channels, just as you have said. So maybe can you tell us the difference between revenge and peaceful protest? And are the youth wrong, for going out there and protesting peacefully regarding the matter?
Very true. As people say, we don't take this lying down because lest it becomes a culture. As you say, the reason we are rebuking, rejecting, and renouncing this is because we don't know who is next. And so we are already, as religious leaders in Vihiga, we have given a statement. We have called out the president and the systems of security and said, this is wrong. Take responsibility for what has happened. If we were in an advanced country, the government would have resigned. Because one life is one too many. So here we are, because we are igniting and educating one another. Kenyans are right to protest the death of Albert Ojwang. And that is not necessarily harmful, because to speak against it is our right.
It is,
The religious leaders have done it. NCCK has spoken, KCCB. As religious leaders, Vihiga, I happen to be a leader in that forum. We have already issued a statement.
That is amazing.
On radio. And so, but we have not thrown stones. We have not blocked roads. But we have said it is wrong. This must not happen again. So the government must allow people to ventilate. We have a right to think, to speak, and to act according to the law.
Because the Constitution allows the freedom of speech.
So even going to the street to say we are unhappy with this is part of our right. Remember, even as church, when we want to communicate, we do crusades, we do processions, on the road, just to make people aware, what's happening? It's Good Friday. What's happening? The church is saying something. So it is a biblical right, it's a constitutional right to go to the street and make public your concerns. There's nothing wrong with that. As long as you stone no vehicle. In fact, what the police should come is not to come and disperse, should come and protect
them,
and ask you, where are you, from where to where. So we are going to protest from Chavakali to Majengo. They are supposed to ensure that we are able to make our message known.
And protect them. Some people try to infiltrate good agendas or peaceful agendas, And out of those few people, they'll make the rest look bad.
And the government, up to the task, they should be able. What is intelligence about? If there's a peaceful demonstration and a group plans to disrupt it, a government worthy the name should know that and stop.
And stop it.
These people have a right to demonstrate. You don't interfere.
Yes.
That's why the police are there to protect the peaceful demonstrators or protesters. But in Kenya, we see the opposite.
The opposite.
Yes, we even see agents of security coming as goons.
Yes.
And you can only lie to people who are not keen, but God knows that is wrong.
Yes, definitely.
And that's why you've seen the youth even telling the police, when we are, like last time they were talking about the finance bill.
Yes.
We are speaking for you. This finance bill is bad for all of us.
For all of us, yes, because it affects them and their children as well.
See, the other day I saw that the police have not been paid for some months.
Oh, look at
So
that.
you can see bad governments is bad for all of us.
For everyone, yeah.
So allow the youth, because they are young and energetic, speak. The youth can also speak for the adults.
Yes, definitely.
And on this one, they were speaking for us.
Yeah.
And for the children, for their parents, they see it all. They are seeing how much their parents are suffering.
Even for the generations to come.
Because of overtaxation, because of bad government, governance. I mean, you can only pretend that all is not well, but it's written all over. That while a few things have been done right, most things are being done wrong. And so, particularly, that when the cost of living is high, it is a cost with many consequences. So many things go wrong, including crime, the increase of crime and so on. So a good government ensures that the cost of living is affordable for everything to fall into place. Correct.
Definitely.
So let's look at now the types of revenge.
Revenge, yes.
So the types of revenge, I want to look at number one, direct revenge. Like the name says, this is where the offender and the offended directly harm each other. So like somebody abuses you and you slap them. Now that is direct revenge. There and then. Yes. Number two, we have what we call hideous or hidden revenge.
Yes.
This is the type of hurt or harm that is done way after, it's done in secret and long after the perceived offense was done. So it is done in hiding.
In hiding,
So you wouldn't know who hurt you, who harmed you, because the villain here hides,
yes.
but yet causes harm. Number three, we have the aggressive revenge, like the direct revenge, aggression. This is very public. This is very, you can see rage, you can see destruction.
Yes, it's very evident.
It is very evident, yes.
Yeah.
And many times, the reaction is not equal to the action. In a vengeful revenge, for example, if somebody, like even look at the Albert Ojwang case. This is aggressive revenge in the sense that if what he said hurt someone, killing him doesn't compare. An abuse and a murder. Do they really match?
They don't. And it's the fact that the abuse was online,
Yes.
It's just someone went and aired the abuse online.
Yes. And even abuse can be a perception. I may say something and you get offended even when I didn't mean to.
Exactly.
If you said this administration is not fair, that's your assessment of it. And so, but if the administration takes offense, you can see what we are talking about.
Yeah.
Retaliative revenge is the next one. This is where the revenge is in retaliation. For example, we've seen it among communities. One community steals animals from another, and many days later, the other community maybe comes and burns houses. So this is revenge because of something that was done, and now somebody is retaliating, paying back. And that affects especially communities. Then we have the torturous revenge. This is you're paying back. You just want to torture. Like in the case where somebody's abducted, hurt and thrown where they know not. So they have to find their way back. Somebody's stripped naked because of what they have said or done. This is just meant to torture, to cause pain and harm. Then we have the type of revenge that is called passive. Passive revenge. This is the type of revenge where you withhold the basics, like you deny food, you deny clothing, this may happen in homes.
Yes.
Sometimes parents revenge on their children like that. They just don't give them food.
Yeah.
Or
very sad.
They withdraw clothing, or they don't pay fees. Or you're sick and nobody takes you to hospital.
Yes.
So it is silent, yet it is revenge. It hurts.
It hurts a lot, yes. Because we realize that the people are heavily dependent on whatever you have withdrawn.
Yes, or you lock a child out of a house. Or you lock your spouse, A wife who locks the husband out. Is silently torturing him. So he comes, he knocks, and tomorrow she says, I didn't hear you.
Yes. I think passive can also be, now we've talked about torture, it can also be mental.
Yes.
Mental torture,
Yes, it's not physical. Torture as revenge is physical.
It's physical, yeah.
Passive
is very
is silent,
mental, yeah.
Mental, psychological.
Psychological, yes.
And it hurts. It's a form of revenge.
Yes.
Harmless as... So somebody, in this case, you don't quarrel. There is no action. There is pain.
Yeah, you feel it.
And, psychological torture is worse than physical.
Physical, yes.
Come to think of it, yes. So all these types of revenge, we shouldn't practice any. We are only highlighting on different ways people torture others or revenge on others, but none of them is justifiable.
Yeah.
None of them is welcome. We should avoid all of them.
All of them, yes.
Sure. Yes. Then we can look at the causes.
Yeah, we can look at causes.
So what makes people revenge? Is what we may ask ourselves. Yeah. So the first cause of revenge is certainly anger. When somebody is full of rage, they may hurt
people and revenge.
So we must control anger.
And not respond while in anger.
Yes.
Learn to calm down first. If it's withdrawing maybe from a confrontation, you can withdraw even physically, like move from there and go to somewhere else, and then just calm down and then respond later.
Correct. Very true that we call it flight or distance is one way of controlling. You cannot control anger by continuing to exchange or by staying with the same person who hurt you.
Yes.
So a bit of distance is good to calm the situation.
Yes.
The second cause, we're just looking at the major causes, is betrayal.
Yes.
Yeah, when somebody something is done that you didn't expect. You actually expected better.
Yes.
So there's a lot of betrayal in the family, in the neighborhood, even the youth. Part of the anger in the youth nationally is that they had a lot of hope.
Yes.
So many pledges and promises were made. But here you are. And so you promised us.
Yeah.
We believed in you. We fought for you, thinking that you were the solution. But, so betrayal can cause revenge.
Yes.
Number 3, we have conflict. Conflict can also be a major cause of revenge.
Definitely.
When somebody was conflicted with you, you may want to hit them back, yet it's not right. Discrimination. Yes. When somebody feels left out.
Left out, yes.
Yes. So you saw even in the Bible the story of the prodigal son.
Yes.
The prodigal son who came back. The elder son felt discriminated, he felt left out, and see what he did.
Yeah.
So when people feel left out, they can hurt,
yes.
they can harm. Because why have you left? I thought this family is ours, this county, this country. And so discrimination is a major cause of revenge.
And when you talk about discrimination, I think we also talk about maybe tribe, race as well. It borders along those lines.
True.
Yeah.
Nepotism, giving jobs only to your relatives is discrimination.
It's discrimination,
Yeah. We can even have religious discrimination. If Christians look down on Muslims, Muslims hurt Christians just because they're not Muslims.
It's discrimination, yes. And us also, as being a Christian media station or a Christian platform, we also advocate for peace among all religions. Yeah, we don't advocate for discrimination. As much as we have different beliefs, we learn to respect every religion.
Sure.
Yeah.
That you can even see, this TV is praise, worship, church owned. I am Catholic. I'm a Catholic priest, but invited on another church's platform.
Exactly.
See, this is how we should coexist because we are one.
We are one.
The fact that we pray differently, we dress differently, shouldn't make us uneasy with one another.
Yes, definitely.
So here, through this program, we are preaching religious tolerance. Let's tolerate one another.
Yes.
Because we belong to the same God.
To the same God,
so
exactly.
Muslims are not enemies of Christians, and Christians are not enemies of Muslims.
Yeah.
We believe in one God. The God who created a Christian is the same God who created a Muslim.
Yes.
Come to think of it.
Definitely.
Right. So then another cause of revenge is envy. Envy. Sometimes you think somebody has more than you do, and you want to hurt them.
You want to
harm them, which is very unfortunate.
It's very unfortunate.
Yes. Then we've looked at feuds and historical feuds. Feuds are these tensions between communities, quarrels. Feud is a quarrel that can also make revenge happen.
Yes.
Humiliation, when you embarrass someone, when you slighten someone, kidunisha mtu, kidharau mtu, anaweza kulipiza kisasi.
Yes.
Feeling that in this case, you see that when the youth are feeling humiliated, abducted, tortured, dumped, so other people feel for them and they say, why did you do that to Ojuan? Why did you do that to Rose? You remember Rose Njeri?
Rose Njeri, yes.
Giving feedback about what she thought about finance.
Using her tech skills because she's tech savvy. And, she decided, let me do something for the greater good.
Yes, and you lock her up for 5 days, so humiliating her, separating her from her children, from her family.
Yes.
Very unfortunate.
Very unfortunate.
People, thank God, we must restrain, unless that is something you may not be happy about.
Yes.
And then unforgiveness. Unforgiveness can also be another major cause of revenge.
Yes.
Because if you don't forgive, you revenge.
You revenge, yes.
And you revenge because you did forgive.
You did forgive, yes. And then when we refuse to forgive, or rather become unforgiving, it causes up a lot of bitterness inside us. It leads to a lot of bitterness. So it's very easy to revenge once you're very bitter.
True. Yes, and that brings me, you mentioned bitterness, and I see it as a consequence of revenge. It's among them.
Okay.
So as we already mentioned, remember the clarion call here is that strong people forgive, weak people don't. Just remember, revenge is a weakness. So, and because we believe we are strong, let us forgive.
Let us forgive,
because every time we revenge, we prove ourselves very weak.
Yes.
Before God, before others.
Yes.
So even a weak government, is one that tortures its citizens, to subdue them, to suppress them.
Especially very helpless citizens or very helpless people in the community. So when we talk about the poor, when we talk about the weak, the widows, the youth, very sad.
Yeah, very sad. And that's why the truth is that everybody looking at what is happening in Kenya cannot be happy. Yes. Definitely. And the most disappointed person here is God himself. But you've seen other neighboring countries in the West, when they visit us, they tell us, hey, recently we had a visitor say, please be kind to the youth. Because they are weak now, they will be strong, weak economically, weak, but the youth are proving they're very strong intellectually. Yes, very strong emotionally and socially. So, and yet we can tap this talent and channel it for nation building.
Definitely.
Come to think of it. So let's look at the consequences. We already mentioned bitterness as one of them, that where there's revenge leaves both the offender and the offended bitter. Even you, when you have revenged, you go away still bitter. So revenge does not solve. If anything, it just opens more cans of worms.
Yes, it does.
Because it doesn't end the story. We've seen it, talk about retaliation.
Yes.
It's because somebody did this. So as you hit somebody, as you go away, just remember they may hit you back.
Yes.
And that can be endless.
Yes.
So that's why when we shall be looking at the role models, one of the role models tells us that it is forgiveness that ends the cycle of revenge.
Yes, definitely.
Because you hurt me, I'll hurt you. You'll hurt me.
So it's a never-ending cycle until you decide to forgive someone.
Correct. Because if parents hurt, the children will revenge, then the grandchildren. Then it becomes historical and very sad. Then anxiety is a consequence of revenge.
Revenge, yes.
Yes, when we revenge, we create anxiety. You don't know when they will hit you back. So anxiety is followed by bitterness. Bitterness is followed by corruption. Even in the Albert Ojwang case, you can see traces of corruption. Somebody is trying to tell us he hanged himself. And tomorrow somebody will be bought to even come and tell a story. I saw him hang himself.
I saw him, Actually, remember they said that he hit his head like against the wall. In that act, some said, some of the police officers, they say that he hit his head kwa wall,
And that kills. We hit so many walls, we have not died.
It's
hit with this wall.
And when you look at the body, you can, for those that went to view the body, a lot of youth did go and view the body, and they saw a lot of signs of torture and struggle, So we can clearly see that the government was lying.
Yes, and so corruption is setting in.
Exactly.
Because they must try and cover this up, but they will not succeed. Because, by the way, the blood of the innocent never goes unpunished.
It does not.
And by the way, as we do this, it's not just governments that are revenging. The youth can also revenge. So we are saying revenge is a no-go zone.
It's a no-go zone.
Anybody who is planning to revenge against a friend, because even the youth, you have a girlfriend who cheats on you and you want to cheat on them. We've seen the youth who have even killed their girlfriends or boyfriends.
Oh my
That's
God.
Revenge.
It's revenge.
And if you kill your girlfriend or kill your boyfriend, your hands are bloody, you will pay for it.
You'll pay for it. And then it cuts your life because you're so young.
Yes.
Cuts your life short. Now you're going to prison and you have to serve a sentence. And maybe you had so many aspirations in life, but it's cut short.
Yes. So we're saying, as we address this, we're just educating everyone. Because anybody can revenge.
Definitely.
And so, as we look at all aspects, that's why we looked at the 7 avenues. You see, there is revenge right from the homes to the national state, to the international state. We even said what is happening in Israel and Palestine, those bombs, killing innocent children in the process, is just not right. Correct. So then another consequence of revenge is fatigue. There's a lot of mental fatigue, exhaustion. It's very exhausting to live in a country where revenge is a way of life. So there's exhaustion and fatigue. There's retaliation. There's another consequence. Hostility.
People very hostile,
that is existing
in the government, even between government officials themselves, we can see hostility.
Yes, even in the broad-based government, you can see the tension within.
Yes, exactly.
What was all this? Did we form this so that you kill our youth? We've seen leaders from Homa Bay, for example, who even thought broad-based was good. Here they are saying, wait a minute, this was not supposed to be a cover-up so that you kill our youth. But you see, one of the things that is happening if the elected leaders are not speaking for us, the youth will speak for themselves.
Yeah.
Yes. If you don't speak for us, we'll speak for ourselves.
So definitely.
This is also, leadership should blame itself.
Yeah.
Because if we had the three arms of government who are checking on each other, the youth would be busy schooling, training, and working.
Doing other things.
But because we see a compromise, then that's why the youth are saying, nobody's speaking for us.
Yes,
we shall speak
for ourselves. Lest it become a culture, just like you said.
True. Nobody's defending us, we will defend ourselves, which is a pity. And then stress and depression can come out of revenge. We've also seen sorrow. There's a lot of sorrow, sadness that is permeating the country, a resentment of whoever is responsible for this, and we even see strained relationships from wherever this is happening. Relationships are strained in the home if there's revenge, in the school. Now nationally, you can see there's a strain. Even for leaders who have come together to try and form a broad-based government, you can see strained relationship within that.
Because it also indirectly affects your environment, like you said. Because the environment is not just plants and animals, it's also the people.
It's the people around you, if they are. And so it is what it is. So let's look at remedies. The good news is that we can remedy the situation. That revenge can stop someone. And it should stop with you, it should stop with me. So on remedies, we are looking at attitudes, we are looking at conversations and even behavior that can stop this. So number one on remedies is prayer, the power of prayer.
Glory.
Yes, power of prayer is powerful. And that is why as church, many people think that when the church is not speaking, the church is not doing anything. Many times there is a certain saying to say is what you can't do on your feet, you can do on your knees. So many times the church kneels and prays for this country. Come to our sanctuaries, come to our altars.
We pray.
We are praying, we are crying to God, to just intervene.
Yes. So and you see, to an unbeliever, they might not see the benefits of prayer. But to us who know God and we know the power of God, we know that
we are doing something.
We are doing something.
We are praying. In fact, we are doing the best we could do.
Exactly.
On our knees, we are very powerful. So number one remedy is let us pray against revenge. Number two is patience. Patience is a remedy. When we are patient and calm, we will find a better solution. Because when we are enraged, the offender is enraged, the offended is enraged. How can that be a solution?
So we need to be patient.
Yes. And then peacemaking, and reconciliation and peace. We can shake hands, even with the offender and offended, can shake hands and says, you hurt me, but I forgive you. Don't do it again. So peacemaking is
very important.
Let's make peace. Many people love peace, but few people make peace.
Make peace,
So more than being peace lovers, let us be peacemakers.
Definitely.
And purposeful persistence is also very important in doing this. The living values. Let's look at the living values against revenge. The first one is spirituality. When we're spiritually strong, that it is possible that when we're spiritually weak, we revenge. Yes. Number two is responsibility. Let us be responsible for what we say, what we do, and how we live. Integrity. Integrity is a value, is a virtue that can help us work against revenge when we are honest.
We are honest with each other.
Mistake, accept and apologize. And apologize meaningfully.
And also speaking out once you've been wrong, because the wrongdoer might not have a clue of what they did. So it's also about speaking out, and you're like, I didn't like when you said this and did that.
And that heals.
It heals,
But if you suppress even speech, then if people are not, the moment we cease talking, we shall start fighting. tukiwacha kuongea tutaanza kupigana. So a government should be happy when they hear people speak, because then you understand their concerns. Yes, definitely. If we don't speak, we may fight, and we don't want to fight. Solidarity is important. I'm liking the way people are coming together. Children, adults are feeling. The youth are not well treated on this. The church is praying and speaking. And in solidarity with the youth. So the youth should not feel alone. They will join family. And the youth generally, I hear them asking me in church, Father, is this right? Shouldn't you speak to the government and tell them this is not right? How can we find death in the hands of the government when a government should protect lives and property of its citizens? Tenacity is that strength of character. We must be strong as we speak against this. So let me look at 3 role models. The first one, of course, is Jesus himself.
Jesus Christ.
We have read his word. It's very clear that Jesus says, leave revenge to me. Judgment and revenge belongs to me, for I do it best. The second role model I want to quote is Mahatma Gandhi. This is what he says: an eye for an eye will only make the whole world blind. An eye for an eye will make the whole world blind. So there is no winner. When we revenge, we are all losers. The offended and the offender are the same. Then may I quote a philosopher called Rachel Godric. Rachel Godric says, a society built upon a foundation of revenge is a society doomed to destroy itself. That if revenge becomes our foundation as a society, we are doomed to destroy ourselves. And finally, there is a psychologist called Austin O'Malley who says, to revenge is to bite a dog because a dog bites you. So, it's the nature of a dog to bite. So if you bite a dog because a dog beat you, makes you the same as
a dog.
And in summary, I'd like to say on the 3 don'ts of revenge. If you don't want to revenge, then don't do the following. Number 1, don't be bitter. Number 2, don't compare. He did this to me, I will do this to them. And then number 3, don't give up. So don't be bitter. Don't compare and make even, and then don't give up. So as we pursue justice and peace for all of us, we must never give up.
Never give up. We've talked about tenacity, strength in character. Never give up. This has been a very enlightening conversation, and a very needed conversation, might I add, in light of recent events that have been happening in the country. We just had to talk about it, and guys were asking about it, and this is a platform that also speaks for the church, because some of you might say, the church has been quiet, but through this platform we can see that the church is speaking out and standing in solidarity with the youth. And of course, we do offer our condolences to the family of Albert Ojwang, and we do pray that the Lord support you, and the Lord keep you, and the Lord strengthen you as well. This has been the Ignite Show with Father Martin Chibole. I being your host, Terry Joy. A very enlightening conversation, this one that you may not want to miss. If you've tuned in, kindly share with a friend. Remember to go to our platforms, like, subscribe, share. Our platforms are at Uprising TV on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter or X, and TikTok as well. And if you'd like to reach us, give us your comment, feedback, and the number to do so is 0756303019. If you'd like to partner with us as well on Uprising TV, unaweza tumia nambari hiyo to reach us, and we'll give you more information on how you can partner with us. Until next time, this has been the Ignite Show. God bless.
God bless you too. Thank you.